Yeah, uh, yeah, come on, turn it up. How you doing? How you feeling? Drink some water, air conditioned, wear a sweater. How's the weather? What you reading? Are you happy? I have questions. Here's a poem. Would you say your feet are growing? Talking flowers, talking pickles. What's your favorite Lifetime movie? Would you say I'm entertaining? Do you get sleepy when it's raining? Mashed potatoes, tater tots, my crochet.
What's up, everybody? That's one of the Robin's Gate originals. I've got to get some new music up here for me reading stuff. In that bizarre time in between me reading stuff and the sabbatical and Robin's Gate, and now a lot happened. One thing that was pretty tight was my music game. I had several people working on music for me voluntarily, and the songs are just nuts. They're so good. Unfortunately, they all say something about Robin's Gate, the name of the old podcast, and Patreon, where I used to publish them. And so, there was a lot of activity going on, and a lot of it didn't amount to much. But there were these little tidbits that I'd like to keep going with. And that little song was one of them I wanted to share with you. And to those of you who are with me throughout the Robin's Gate era, thank you. And my apologies. Anyway, hello everybody. It's me. How you feeling? What are you doing? What's been the best part of your life so far? What do you love about life? What do you hate about life? What did you have for breakfast? I'm here just doing my thing. I just got back from a major party. And by party, I mean hanging with the Blue Jays out in my yard. I don't think I've been talking to you guys as much about all the things I do with birds these days. Again, Robin's Gate, the mystery podcast that I've now deleted, had a lot of talking about me and birds, because that's when I developed a lot of hand feeding of wild birds and attracting all sorts of species of birds to my yard. I've been, a new family came to town that I've been partying with. It's a growing family of California scrub jays. If you don't know what kind of blue jay they are, look them up. They are gorgeous. The way they move is my favorite thing about them. They hop around in very interesting, somehow it's a combination of being both incredibly agile and incredibly clumsy looking. And they do this fun head bob thing a lot as well. But anyway, they're my friends, and I'm getting so close to feeding one or two of them by hand. They do love me, at least. They always say be careful. If you read about birds, wild birds, they're like, they don't like you. They just like your food. Just be clear on that with wild animals. I'm like, yeah, but they do seem to prefer me to a lot of other people who feed them. So I don't know. Just let me have it is what I'd like to say to all those bird experts. Is like, I don't have a lot. Can I just pretend like these birds actually like me? Anyway, they're coming very close to coming up to my hand. But I don't want to rush it. You've got to do this at the right. I mean, this is all by instinct. I haven't read how to do it. I just know what I'm doing. And anyway, they do love, and it's got to be, in the shell peanuts. That's what most blue jays like. That's the same as crows, by the way. They're all blue jays are a part of the, how do you say it? Corvidae family. It's Corvidae, Corvidae family. So they're all very similar if you start watching them. I also have crows who, they'll follow me around too a little bit, and they'll wait for me. They'll call for me. They all call for me when I'm inside. That's pretty special. And because I don't live in a big area, they all spot me where I'm at on my walks, because I take a lot of walks, and they start kind of chasing me down. And oh yeah, and there's a Steller's jay. I have one Steller's jay, and those are the especially cool looking ones that are really a beautiful blue with a lot of little spots of blue, and then a big black crest on their head. And that guy, he's my main guy right now. And he's very, very demanding with me. When he spots me on my walk or like right around the streets where I'm coming close to being home, he'll lead me home and to the place where I typically feed him on this patio. And he oftentimes greets me in the morning when I first walk outside too, very loudly. I'm like, damn, calm down, buddy. You know I'm here for you, but I'll deal with it. I'll take what I can get. He is so loud. He is amazing looking, though. And the family of Stellar's jays do not like, I mean, the family of California scrub jays do not like my Stellar's jay. So anyway, if you have these kinds of birds near you and you want to know what it's like to commune with them and hang out with them, just buy a big bag of peanuts in the shell. And then just kind of have them around. And then when you see them, they'll make a nice noise if you throw them onto concrete or the ground. And then the birds start to know that as the noise of you feeding them. So there's probably a lot of ways to do it, but that's how I do it. And, I live in Washington State. And in this area where we live, in between Seattle and Vancouver, oh, we're so lucky. The snow geese arrived. And what I mean by that, I've talked about this on here before. 80 to 90% of this particular snow geese from Wrangel Island, Russia, migrate along the Pacific coast and stop right here in the Puget Sound and stay for the winter. But specifically, they come right to this exact, we're kind of in between a couple of counties. They come right here. And October's when they arrive, so they arrived a bit early this year, and you can just hear them. And to me, it's the most comforting sound to hear these particular geese arrive. And you see them just almost anytime you go outside, you just see huge V's of them. And then you can drive and see thousands of them in nearby farms or fields. And it's really a sight to see. If you live anywhere near the Pacific Northwest or you're coming up here in October specifically or November, or anytime, because they do stay now, and you've never seen them before, it's worth a day trip. People come from all over the world to witness this, and they're just basically right in our backyard. So I have immense gratitude for that special little part about where I live. And I do love where I live, by the way. I don't know. With me, I'm always, I wish I could just settle, I'm always like, yeah, maybe that's just how you're supposed to be, like aiming for something else. But this, I think I will settle here. But then again, I always want to live near a lake, and I don't live near, and I mean on a lake. Now I kind of want to live on a lake. That's a new thing that's been developing in my brain. Anyway, this has been Bird Talk with Robin O'Neill, everybody. Now let's get to the business. Really quick, I wanted to mention that I forgot about this, but a few weeks ago, I worked really hard on figuring out how to put all of Me Reading Stuff podcast, all episodes, on YouTube. So there's nothing special as far as the image on YouTube goes. It's just an image of the podcast cover, which, by the way, I have disliked for quite a while now. What do you guys think? Weigh in. Should I design a new one or should I just stick with the old one? I mean, I loved it for a long time, and it kind of defines this podcast in a way, but then again, it's old. I mean, I don't look like that anymore. I mean, that was 10 years ago. So anyway, long story short, every single episode of Me Reading Stuff is now on YouTube. And you can search Me Reading Stuff. You can follow and subscribe. I think it's under my name, though, Robin O'Neill. But just search Me Reading Stuff and you'll find it. And then follow me. That's where I'm going to be putting them. And every single new episode will directly be uploaded onto YouTube as well. I just thought that was easier because everybody has YouTube, but not everybody does podcasts. So anyway, enjoy that. What else is going on before I get to the reading? I've been in the studio. Oh, God, that really... well, anyway, let me start by saying I've been trying to be in the studio. It's incredibly difficult for me. It's incredibly emotional for me. And thank you again to those of you who have subscribed to my Substack. For those of you new to this, Substack is basically like a blogging platform is what I would call it. But It's a easy way to catch up with people, and it's more long form than Instagram, and it's much more controlled and informative than anything like Instagram, and I'm really enjoying it. And I've been putting out new posts every Monday where I write about pages in my composition notebooks that had been working on for 30 years. And anyway, both trying to get back into the studio after everything I've been through lately, and also diving into the past, into these composition notebooks, has been, for lack of better words, it's been very triggering. It's very difficult for me to see me. I mean, it's basically like my DNA is all over this thing, and I see all of the things I thought were going to happen in my life that didn't. I see all the things that did happen that were great, that did happen that were awful, that did, no matter what. When I'm sentimental, it all feels painful. And I don't know why that is, and I'm working on it, but it's heavy for me. It's very heavy. And I think you'll see why. I'm going to read you guys something. I'm going to read you guys, actually, yeah, I'm going to read to you what I posted. That's going to be my reading of the day. And what I posted this week, because I think it's the most honest thing I can share with you this week. But anyway, being back in the studio is super weird for me. I did finish a drawing today. The first drawing I've finished, really, since starting to try to draw again. And if you were to ask me, like, what is so hard about it? I would actually say it's just the really simple parts about it. Like, I used to be so clear about what I need, even like material wise. And now it's sort of like the world blew up for me. So I don't even know if, like, lately I don't want to work with my mechanical pencil. I've been gravitating towards just working with normal drawing pencils, like a 5B, a 6B, and sharpening that. Like, all of a sudden I'm sharpening pencils and I never used to do that. That was the whole reason I did a mechanical pencil for so long, is because I didn't feel I had time to sharpen pencils. So for me to now know that I don't have to rush through everything, and I don't have to be so hardcore about this limited materials list I used to have, it's been very odd. It's interesting, but it's also like, it just, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. Also, I have 2 desks. I'm not sure which one I like working on. And, I was just in a rhythm for so long, for over 20 years, doing the same kind of thing day in, day out. And now that I've broken that apart, it's just so, I think it could be fun, but in this beginning stage, it's frustrating. I find myself on the floor a lot. And when I say on the floor, I don't mean in a good way, like stretching or having fun on the floor or anything like that. I just collapse. And I just sit there or sit there like a baby lost without a parent or something. It's very bizarre. There's been several times I think Damien's walked in and sees me like that and is like, I think he just kind of lets it happen, which is probably the best thing to do. So Damien, thank you if you're listening. Like I said, lots of ums here. Sorry about that. Instead of reading, I will attach in of me reading the most recent post about, I don't even know. I think I'm just going to let it speak for itself. So here we go. I'm putting it in here. Enjoy it. I believe it was John Cage who once told me, when you start working, everybody is in your studio. The past, your friends, enemies, the art world, and above all, your own ideas. All are there. But as you continue painting, they start leaving, one by one, and you are left completely alone. Then, if you are lucky, even you leave. That was Philip Guston and John Cage. In the introduction to Philip Guston, Collected Writings, Lectures, and Conversations, Dori Ashton references this story, as told in a symposium between Guston and writer Harold Rosenberg. As Ashton points out, the story is possibly slightly misattributed, as it seems likely it was a game of highly intellectual telephone. But isn't that how most good artistic messages are birthed? Wild combinations of first-rate brains accidentally develop creative myths. all while simply trying to tell a story. The reason I'm writing around that quote today is because I now long for that feeling, getting lost in my work. I'm not ashamed, but am sad to say I haven't experienced that version of bliss in over 2 years. Prior to that, I basically lived in that feeling. I, in fact, designed my life so that I could get in and stay in that feeling as often as humanly possible. Here's something I am ashamed to say. Not only did I attempt being housed in a constant state of art-making reverie, but I was also displeased with anyone or anything that took me away from it. I worked exhaustive hours without much sleep for decades. I didn't allow much life into my life, and I hid from almost everything. That's what haunts me about this quote today. The walking out. The you walking out part. The loss of self is precisely what I treasured back then. About the quote and, frankly, my life. And maybe the fact that I attained that rapt state so often in my studio is why I occasionally stumbled into making pretty all right artwork, according to some. But that me walking out part is also why I, as a human, was never okay. Never healthy. Never at all calm. Never happy. Never stable. Never satisfied. As some of you know, I quit working at the start of 2023. I called it a sabbatical, but it was something much angrier than that. And as it raged on throughout that year, it became something even worse than anger. It became what used to be called a nervous breakdown. And I tend to go big, so you can imagine. That's why I appreciate that I miswrote the quote above, a not at all related reference to a Christian Krogh painting, Sick Girl. Although I now know the painting is about society's mistreatment of women and sex workers, at the time, to me, it was simply an elongated, stirring painting of a sick young girl. If you'll allow me to wander down the dangerous territory of suspending disbelief for a moment, I'd prefer to see it again the way I originally did, as a painting of an ill, distant, probably dying girl. Prior to the abbreviated tale I just told of my grave 2023, it seems all I did was draw. It certainly occupied at least 98% of my brain from the late 90s onward, and I doubt anyone who knew me would disagree. I always considered that a good thing. I thought of myself as one of the lucky ones, somebody built for being an artist, a hard-working artist, even better. But now I'm forced to wade through the wreckage of all that I unintentionally destroyed over the years, all that I've been through, and I see the whole thing so differently. I don't see my former industriousness as something to be proud of. I'm ashamed that my most successful romance thus far was with expensive pieces of paper pinned to second-bedroom suburban walls. I view the face of Krogh's Sick Girl while reminiscing on my love of and identification with the Guston Cage quote, and it's hard for me to tell where the sick girl started and the ambitious me ended. I don't know why I referenced Sick Girl on that notebook page, along with a clearly adoring mention of the Guston Cage quote, but maybe there was a part of me that knew there were going to be problems ahead. I do love meteorology. And yet I told you earlier that I now long for what I lost. I want to lose myself in my work because that feeling used to define me. Then again, I was sick, and meteorology warns me about unclear skies. But skies will be skies, and artists just are. So again, if you want to follow my Substack, I highly recommend it. I'll put a link in the description. And if you have any questions about that, thoughts, questions, or otherwise, go ahead and I think a good place for us to all talk about things is in the YouTube posts for each of these. Or you can always email me at info@robinoneal.com. And I might get back to you. All right, do you guys want a quick recommendation corner? I just have 2 things, maybe 3. Okay, Damien's friend, Lacey, gave us a one of these things called a smart light bulb by Kasa, Kasa. And I think Kasa does all sorts of like, I don't know, you can get your whole house wired up and make it all in the app and turn on your lights before you get home. Well, you can do that with these Kasa smart light bulbs. Anyway, it's just a light bulb and you download the app, and you guys probably already know about this. Anyway, this light bulb can turn any color in the color spectrum, and it can be dim or really, really dim or super, super bright, or it can be light blue, dark blue, medium blue, hot pink. And you can turn on and off your lights at any time with the touch of your finger on your phone through an app. I highly recommend those if you are wanting to get cozy, get into the spirit of Halloween or the holidays. Like we've got a lot of orange lights going on right now, orange and purple lights. And it is so fun. And at the end of the night, I do a really deep blue, really dim. And it gets Frankie even like cozier and more cuddly. I'm not kidding. This is the way to do it. So whatever emotional state you want to induce, get yourself a Kasa smart light bulb. This is not a paid advertisement. I do not have paid advertisements. I think I'd like to eventually, but I don't right now. And the other thing I wanted to recommend, I printed something out. Okay, do you guys on Instagram, now that I'm back on Instagram, I forgot how much I love letters of note. So just letters of note, look for that. And a lot of people who I follow this. So somebody recommended it to me a long time ago, I think, and I just love it. And so let me read you an example of one of the letters they post on here. Okay, this is from E.B. White. You guys all know that writer. September 28th, 1956. Dear Mr. Adams, thank you for your letter inviting me to join the Committee of the Arts and Sciences for Eisenhower. I must decline for secret reasons. Sincerely, E.B. White. How beautiful of a letter is that? Oh, secret reasons. Back to secrets. Such a good secret. The word secret. I love it. Okay, well, that is time. We're going to have to peel ourselves away from one another. You have so much to do. That's what you're always telling me. And I need rest. I need a lot of rest. I would love for my heart to feel better. I mean that physically, not emotionally. Emotionally, I'm doing okay heart-wise. Physically, really bad. I appreciate all of you. To anybody who's listening to this, it really does mean the world to me. I wish you the best of all things. I know life isn't easy, but I hope it's being kind enough to you. And if it's not, well, welcome to my world. I'll be here all night. T-shirts in the back. There are t-shirts available, by the way. You can still get Me Reading Stuff t-shirts. Check out my website, and at the bottom of the shop page, you'll see where you can get that. Anyway, we shall find peace. We shall hear angels. We shall see the sky sparkling with diamonds. That's Anton Chekhov. And as you know, I'm Robin. And guess what? You can also get hoodies, I just remembered. I get almost no money for those, by the way, so it's kind of shitty. I'd like to make different shirts, and I have a plan for them. I think I get like maybe 50 cents a hoodie, but they're still cool hoodies. I wear mine all the time. Okay, bye guys. I love you. I think you're awesome. I think you're complex, and stay that way. All right, I'll talk to you guys next week. Good night.
Take number testing. Yo, how many of you up there are fans of Robin O'Neill? Let me see your hands up in the air. Come on. Straight out of the Midwest, she's the best. I'm obsessed. You think I'm depressed? Then you don't know me well, bitch. Bitch. How many lines must I draw you? How many times do I call you? Never. I can't find my phone and I really don't give a shit. If I lost it, what it cost it. If you know me, then you know that I am better off without it. This many boyfriends walked me home. This many boyfriends left me the fuck alone. This many fools I choose to forget. This many fools fail to show me respect. Always running at the mouth without the intellect. How many words did I have to deflect? How many times did I get this upset?